If you find yourself getting stuck sometimes with your tarot practice and figuring out what questions you're going to ask, I have an extremely simple way that you can come to your deck, especially when you're in times where you're feeling stress, emotions, overwhelm, with a single card pull. If you're new here, hi, my name is Avery, and I help justice-aligned, neurodivergent, and nerdy humans to cultivate ease and self-trust in growing into our emerging future. So I wanted to do just a really quick video about a particular strategy for pulling tarot cards based on some of the repeating questions or repeating themes that I've noticed in my client practice. I work with neurodivergent folks especially, a lot of whom are interested in cultivating a spiritual practice, but sometimes it can be challenging for us when we're neurodivergent. We can feel, depending on what our neurotype is, like there's a lot of stuff we need to do to make a practice right, or we can just get stuck. I think a lot of my clients and myself have noticed that it's really easy to kind of know that your deck's there and have it there and be like, oh, I want to be pulling tarot cards more. I wish I was pulling tarot cards more. Theoretically, I should be pulling tarot cards more. But then we don't actually do it. Or we get kind of stuck into practice of maybe like pulling a daily card, or weekly or monthly, where we're doing like a tracking practice and we're doing a general pull, but then we find ourselves not really turning to our decks in other ways. And so I wanted to just share the simplest format I know, or one of the simplest formats I know, for turning to your deck when you're having anything at all coming up, really. And that is the question format, where can I find X? So X, in this case, would be something that I would recommend that you kind of check in with yourself. If you have a practice, I normally, when I pull cards, very simple drop-in that I do, inspired by my teacher, Lindsay Mack. I should give credit for this. I just do a quick drop-in of kind of acknowledging where I am right now, taking a few breaths, connecting, and asking for something to come forward. For me, I usually would call on a few different things. Often it's like spirit, ancestors, my brightest self, whatever language you happen to use, divine, God, the deck itself, however you conceptualize it. But as I'm doing my check-in, my drop-in for the pull, I would check in with myself on what is the thing that I'm most feeling like I'm missing right now. So often that X, where can I find X? It might be clarity, right? A lot of times, especially neurodivergent folks, we just wander around kind of confused. So, if I'm feeling a sense of lack of clarity, it could be about a specific situation or just overall. It could be if I'm feeling really exhausted and really overworked and busy, where can I find rest might be my question. If I'm feeling really stuck sometimes, and I'm just feeling like there's no alternative route, there's no way out of my situation, there's no way that this goes well for me, I might ask the question, where can I find possibility? I'm really, actually, that's a good question, like overall, for a lot of these overarching. I think possibility is something that you can kind of ask the tarot for when you're asking for things like rest and clarity. They might feel impossible in the moment. So I'm really like challenging spirit or the tarot or my ancestors, whatever, to come through with me and help me to see where I can find the thing that I'm most needing or wanting, the emotion, the experience, the state that feels the furthest away and really feels impossible right now. So that's another way you could prompt yourself, is ask yourself what feels impossible right now. So maybe it's rest, maybe it's clarity, maybe it's abundance, maybe it's connection, maybe it's a sense of trust, maybe it's really anything, peace. It could be motivation, inspiration. If you're, a lot of times we can struggle with, if we have executive function issues with finding motivation, whatever just feels really far away right now, is to ask the deck, where can you find that? And the answer may be surprising. It may be something that you have to approach creatively, like with any tarot pull. It may be that sometimes your deck will advise you to trust in divine, to pause, to just like let what comes in. But take a look at the visual of the card, feel into the card. What's your initial reaction to the card? And often with a question like this, your brain doubts may come in, your sort of logical brain chatter, your self-talk might say, this is bullshit, right? Because like we're asking a question here of where we can find something that feels impossible. But my advice would be to open up to whatever you receive, and how could this be true? How could it be true that you find rest, clarity, inspiration, whatever, in the card that you pull? What could that look like? And you can pull other clarifying cards. If that's harder to find, you might follow up with some questions about the specific card. So that's just my quick little tip. If you're feeling feelings, if you're feeling stressed or you're feeling stuck, whatever you're feeling, and you want to turn to your deck, and you find yourself often not turning to your deck or not knowing what the question, not knowing, what you're going to even ask, that's one way that you can do it. Drop in, check in with yourself for what feels most impossible, what you're most needing in the moment, and then just ask your deck, where can I find that thing? Let me know if you have any questions in the comments below. And if you're not already subscribed to my newsletter, check it out, because I don't just talk about tarot and other topics like this, topics about neurodivergence here on YouTube. I also have a blog. I also sometimes release free resources, and I have different offerings. And of course, you can work with me one-on-one if you're trying to build a spiritual practice, especially if you are, neurodivergent and you're having challenges, maybe with finding ways that you can make a spiritual practice work for your neurotype. If you sign up for a newsletter, you can check out my website below, and you can learn about different ways to work with me as well. If there's questions that you're having right now in your tarot practice, things that you're wondering and struggling with and would like to see a video on, of course, you can leave a comment below, and I will add that to the upcoming list. All right, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.